zero cost to you. They're all free technologies, and I'm going to do my best. It's hard to use technology in the classroom, so I've got 5 technologies. Hopefully they all work. The goal is to expose you to them. I'm not going to show you how to set them up, but you can come and talk to me at any time about that. Don't worry about taking notes about the websites. I have a handout for you after. Just kind of participate and see how it goes, okay? Also with technology, you want to see what happens when students answer correctly and incorrectly, so don't be afraid to be wrong. Okay. All right, first technology is Gapminder. Raise your hand if you've heard of Gapminder before. All right, a few people in the room. So Gapminder is a wonderful technology, and it can be used all the way in middle school, high school, for visualizing regression and correlation. So here it is. Let's see. I'll pull it up here. Gapminder lets you pick any 2 variables. So you'll see up at the top, there's life expectancy, and on the bottom, income per person. And I'm going to hit play and see if you can figure out what's happening. Here it is. Let's see. There should be a play button down here. There it is. Just watch and see if you can have intuition about what's going on. And let's speed it up just a little bit. Let's go. Ooh. So what's happening here? Each of the colors represents a different continent, and each of the data points represents a country. So you see the color code up in the corner. And it kind of dropped. Everybody dropped in 1920-ish. Why would that happen? World War I, Great Depression, right? Income goes down, life expectancy goes down. Making those connections like we talked about with that geography example, right? So students love this. They get to see what happens over time, and they really have to know their variables, right? What are we tracking with the Y? What are we tracking with the X? There's lots of data sets available, and a lot of cool things. You can also download it, so you don't have to be online while you're using it. All right, back to here. Second one, clickers. Who uses clickers in their classroom? Raise your hand. More clickers users. All right, you have cards on your table. I need everybody to grab a card. And we're going to do a few rounds. So here we go. Clickers is sort of like virtual clickers. So in a minute, I'm going to show a question at the front. And I'm going to select the question using my phone. And I need you to hold up your card without your fingers touching the black part. And if you think the correct answer is A, you want the A to be upright. If you think the answer is B, you want the B to be upright. Okay, so here's the first question. I imported, see if it works. Come on, there it is. I imported an image from Gapminder, and I'll scroll down so you can see the question. Same thing, life expectancy, income per person. Do you think it is positive, negative, no association, or not enough information? Remember, it's okay to be wrong. We like to see what happens when we're wrong. And I'm going to scan the room with my phone. And I could take a little while just to get all of your responses, but I'll just do as many as I can. All right.
Oh wait, keep them up. Pretend like you see scan.
And let's see what happens. So right now you're all registered as guests. If I were doing this in my classroom, I assign the cards to students so I can track their responses. So let's see what happened. I like to do the graph. Oh, 11 people said A, 2 people said C. Correct answer is A. Let's see another question. Let's see, I'll select it here. You know, sometimes questions don't have right or wrong answers. Sometimes we make predictions. So here's another question. Make a prediction. There are currently 4 goats at the Zermatt Resort. How many goats will be there next year at PCMI? How many goats will be there next year? Hold it up. And I need my phone. There were 3 last year, data that I didn't have. Interesting. So normally your classroom's a little bit more condensed, right? So, okay, let's see what we got. And the reveal. D, no opinions on the goats. All right. So that's Plickers. Plickers has some wonderful things you can do. You can get reports, question histories, see what happened, how your students responded. You can also print individual reports for your students. And there's this new feature called Score Sheet, where you can go to a certain week, kind of select what's going on, and get updated results, which is awesome. Okay, so that's Plickers. Let's see. All right, formative assessment. It's great. It's been 4 minutes. It's time for formative assessment. So I need those of you with technology. You can do it on a phone. You can do it on a laptop. To go to the link and see what you've learned so far. Okay? So go to bit.ly/PCMI test and see how it goes. It should take you to a Google form. And again, we're less concerned with are you getting the questions right or wrong. You can just select an answer. You don't have to read through it all. I always ask my students to include their name and email so that I have that information in the spreadsheet when it calculates. And that's bit.ly/PCMI test. And hopefully you get to see something that looks sort of like this. Again, no need to spend that much time with the questions, just kind of pick something, see what happens. And once you click submit, I want you to click view score because it's automatically going to score it for you. Jeff's very happy because he nailed that test. And hopefully you see some results. So what I do on Google Forms, you can set an answer key up, right? So I select the right answers. And what I love about Google Forms is I can give feedback for correct answers and incorrect answers. So for example, this question, each data point represents a country. Well, if you got it right, I'm going to tell you great. Now for a particular country, do you remember what the size of the point represents? I actually didn't tell you that. It represents population. And for incorrect answers, I might give you a little bit of information just to help you along, right? So it's really great feedback for kids. It also calculates that score for you. The last one is unscored. What's happening with China there? Well, lots of explanations for that. I'll let you kind of think about it. And that one I would grade by hand. So I would read the responses and see how it goes, okay? Let's see, I've got 2 minutes left. I don't know if I can squeeze the last two in. All right. Another technology, I won't have you guys try this one out, but this is Padlet. It's great for interactive questions and discussions. So basically the teacher can make a Padlet and then students can go on to the link. So I have a link, you don't have to go to it though. And you can post text on the link. So if you see these little boxes, students can post right on there, and I like it for questions. So at the end of a lesson I might say, well, what questions do we still have? You can make it so that the students put their names on it, or it can be anonymous, right? Sometimes students are more comfortable asking questions without attaching their name to it. And lastly, poll everywhere. Text in your response, live update. So let's do it. Let's see what happens. Our exit ticket for today. Which classroom technology will you commit to trying this year? I want you to text the number 37607, right? So if you were to text to your friend Jeff, you would put Jeff in that box, right? You need to text it to 37607. 37607. And you're going to put this number in the body of the text, whichever one you're going to try. So if it's Gapminder, Plickers, Google Forms, Padlet, poll everywhere. We got one. Plickers.
Let's go, Plickers.
Great. Awesome. So you can see that it's live updating. There is an option to use a web-based platform as well.
Say that again. Go to text to the code 37607.
But students really love it, and it's great for professional development too. I love to do it with teachers who aren't math teachers because it's a way to incorporate data and live statistics when sometimes people are afraid of those numbers, right? So that's all I have for you. I have a handout coming around, so thank you guys for listening. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. Happy to answer.